there, welcome back to Insight Consulting. I am Krisnan and I'm really elated to have with me one of the coaches from school who has made an impression, a remarkable impression on my life. Many of you may know him, especially in certain circles. I won't say which circles those are, but welcome, Michael Small.
Thanks for being here. It's a pleasure to be here.
This is another honor for me. I mentioned in a previous interview where I had Tony Olton, who is actually one of my professional and business mentors. That was an honor, and it's really good making contact with you and having you on here. I really look forward to this. I know there's a lot that we have to share, and let's see how much we can get in these short moments. So let's start with how long were you into coaching? Because you are the head of department of the physical education department at Combermere School.
Yes, correct.
How long were you coaching at Combermere?
I started to coach football at Combermere from 1990.
I was only 3 years old.
Oh, well, okay. You're aging me, but we'll talk about that later. I coached football between 90 and 97. I joined the teaching staff in 1997, the school year, 97, 98. Okay. Right? Before coming to Combermere as a coach, I would have coached or worked with teams in my neighborhood in Eden Lodge, and any person or any team that wanted help with the fitness, I would have assisted. So I could have been doing that from 1985 or so.
Okay. And so, why did you decide to go on staff at Combermere?
Why did I decide to go on staff? Well, first of all, it was an economic decision.
Okay.
When I was coaching the football, I only worked sessional, more or less, like 2 terms. Mr. Harcourt Wilson, who was the head of the department at that time, and my mentor, my big brother, my brother from another mother, he was leaving to go overseas. And Miss Powell, who was the principal at that time, she asked me if I'd be interested in working, and how could I say no to working at my alma mater.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. Anyway.
So I had the chance to go on staff. In 97, as I said, I would have worked with Mrs. Mara Thompson at the time. She would have been my boss, head of the department. Very nice lady to work with. Easily one of the most organized people I've ever worked with.
Wow. Okay.
Right? So the football story is really a very interesting one in that I went to Combermere as a coach, full of ideas, and I wanted to win all these titles. And my very first game as a coach, I can remember it as though it happened yesterday. Combermere traveled all the way to 6 Roads in St. Philip, and the Princess Mary team decided to rename us 7 Roads because they beat us 7-0.
Wow.
And it was a most humbling experience. On my way back down in the bus, all kinds of things went through my mind. Should I resign from the job? Should I call it quits? But then the competitive side in me decided, no, can't stop. Fortunately for Combermere, as the years went by, we were able to go back to 6 Roads and rename up there 9 Roads because we beat them 9-0, right? So we add on some interest. So there are a lot of different stories about football, about coaching at Combermere, working with young people as a PE teacher, where most people think a PE teacher is just somebody who tells children what to do. And that annoys me immensely. I'll stop there for now.
Right. So as the journey continued, how did the progress with the team go? Did it continue on the way it started, or did it get better?
So I have to go back in time again. The first game, as I said, we lost. That very first game, we lost 7-0. And at the end of the season, we conceded 36 goals and scored 4. The principal at the time, Mr. Keith Roach, said that when they tried to calculate the goals that were scored against Combermere, the microchip in the computer brought down. When I heard that, I said, wow, this is really a tough task.
Okay.
So the next year, full of hope again, thinking that I could do a better job, but conceded 50 goals.
5-0.
Yeah, and we lost, and we won one game by default. The team did not turn up. That's
Whoa.
how we won a game.
Oh.
In between there, Harcourt Wilson recognized that I had some talent that he thought needed harnessing, and the school sent me to a coaching course. And on that course, I rubbed shoulders with Horace Beckles, who went on to coach Barbados, to a fairly significant point in the World Cup qualifying campaign that year. And when I went to the course, I sat down and the coordinator was asking questions, and I knew all the answers, but I was frightened. Yeah, right, Michael Small, frightened. I was timid. I didn't want to say anything. Mm-hmm. But I recognized whenever somebody answered, it was the same thing I thought about. So I decided, look, let me answer these questions and everything. I answered the questions. So at the end of the first session, the coach and I, we talked a lot. He was impressed. Because even then, I always thought that a coach should arm his or herself with mental skills to push your charges further. I always felt so. Mm-hmm. And I want to say here now, in case I forget, for me, it was never just about football. It was never just teaching children to lay up a basketball. It was, especially with guys, it was a chance to empower them and to make little boys into men. Mm-hmm. So when I look around and I see lawyers, doctors, yourself, I probably have done something right. And I'm very proud of that. Very, very proud. Yes, winning titles, I love to win titles. I would say that when I win a title, I am on cloud 9. And I go back to, I regress. I'm like a child when I win a title. Mm-hmm. But for me, the bigger picture was teaching young men to collaborate with other people on the football field, recognizing when you go into the working world, if you cannot work with people, your business is going to fail. And you don't want that.
So there was an achievement you got a couple of years ago. Tell us about that achievement. Because we started talking about your failure or the team struggling, mm-hmm. but then it didn't end that way.
No, actually the 90s were very good to Combermere. We won titles in 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2007, 2014. And in the 90s, we became the team that people feared. And ironically, when I came into the competitive nature of the Barbados Secondary Schools Football League competitions, Combermere was seen as the whipping boys. Mm-hmm. So I have a friend from another school. I won't mention his name right now because he wouldn't want to do that. But he deliberately used to play his third string team against Combermere. That irked me. Okay, in 2015, the old scholars, I don't know how they got the information, but one morning I was told to come to assembly to receive something on the school's behalf and to step up the dress a little bit, because you know I'm a polo, short pants, sneakers man. So that morning I've gone to school, polo shirt, slacks, nice leather shoes. So after the school received the equipment, the deputy principal at the time said, Mr. Small, don't move from there. We have something else to give to you. I said, oh my God, they tricked me. Mm-hmm. So these old scholars gave me an award to mark my 25th year as a coach. And for me, that is probably the most touching moment I've experienced at the school. We go to funerals and we hear about how good somebody is and what they did. But I was able to hear people talk about some of the good things I did while I was alive, and that meant something to me. I'll cherish that till the day I can't coach anymore.
Wonderful. So you've been able to see the fruits of your work and be rewarded for it while you were still alive and in your good faculties.
Yes.
That must have been an honor. I can say that there was something that you did for me, which was significant to me, because up to a couple of weeks ago, I was at the beach. And I told the person I was at the beach with that I remember what led to my feeling okay putting my head under the water. As a child, I didn't really like putting my head under the water. But they used to have swimming classes, especially in junior school at Combermere. And one day, because I don't know if you recognize that I didn't take well to it, but you told me something, which was imagine, and we're going into the mental part of it. You said, imagine that Sir Garfield Sobers, because I was a cricketer, Sir Garfield Sobers was watching me. And when you said that to me, it actually turned on the competitive edge in me. And I actually started to imagine that he was there, and it actually caused me to challenge myself to put my head into the water and to participate more fully in the activity. And people, if I go to the beach with groups or anybody, I say, I remember there was a situation where one of my teachers told me that. And it has kind of turned around my view of swimming and challenging myself to swim and approach the water.
Well, that's remarkable because I have no recollection of that. Obviously, I'm getting on in age and I'm prone to senior moments.
Yeah.
But it's amazing that former students can always tell me about something I said at some time. And I've been challenged to write a book called The Small Isms. The Small Isms is things I came up with, like I would sometimes, if I have a child who is lazy, I would say, man, come on, you need to be a little more alert and stop displaying the enthusiasm of a dead fish. No, it's sarcasm. But I use sarcasm to get children to understand, come on, wake up, you can do something, right? And what I do because I think it's my job to motivate. And I don't do it well hoping that somebody's going to remember it later and I can get these accolades. As I said earlier, when I received the award from the Oscars, I felt good. But I think my passion is to empower young people, especially young men.
Right.
Because I think that young men in Barbados are in crisis.
And I remember one of the things that we had a conversation before this, and you spoke about getting birthday greetings and stuff. And one of the things that I notice when your birthday comes around is that lots of footballers, lots of students that you taught are messaging you on Facebook, and you mentioned that they call and all these kind of things. So I realized the impact that you had on the guys. Of course, you were a football coach, but it was beyond that. You were highly involved with the athletics as well, and throughout the athletics department, because you were one of the PE teachers. What did you do differently in that time when the team started to win? What changed?
You mean football team?
Football team, yes.
I place a lot of emphasis on mental application.
Okay.
When we started to win, I recognized that I had a good team, but obviously couldn't tell the guys that. So I felt we need to have another weapon that could push us even further ahead.
Yeah.
So coaching sessions sometimes on the evening, I would say, well, listen, stop the football, lie down, close your eyes and visualize your best moment on the football field or anything. Remember how you felt that day, remember what you wore, remember, just lie down and think about it. Now, it was not as easy as it sounded because some children scoffed, and when they told the parents, they wanted to know if I was a madman, but I stuck to my guns, right? Now, during that, I walked around and I lifted up people's hands. So if people's hands were resisting me, that means they weren't choned out.
Okay.
And obviously,
some of the techniques they use actually.
Obviously, it didn't work overnight. But the good thing is that some players bought into it immediately.
Right.
And as a coach, what I also do every year, I find 2 players that I can talk to a lot and get my message to the team through them. Because sometimes it's better for the team to get a message from the peers as opposed to the coach who seem confused and miserable, right? Because coaches and adult figures to children seem miserable. But it's because you have standards. And I will not compromise my standards for anything. If I had the opportunity to start all over again at Combermere, I would do everything the same way. I wouldn't stop. I wouldn't change anything.
That's
right?
Amazing.
I had a stint where it was on the youth committee of the Barbados Football Association. So youth football, we were looking at players between the ages of, let's say, 12 to 20. And I told the chairman at the time that I think that we need to place more emphasis on the mental application of the game. That evening, the meeting came to everybody stopped and listened, because some people thought, there's a blasted madman. What mental approach, what? But some people were eager to hear what was going on. So he asked me, how would I go about it? I said, well, there are different ways. And it's not a case that I pulled something out of a bag or something. you could go online. There's something called imagery, and that was what I talked about like just now. When you lie down and or sit down, close your eyes, and go back to a place where you felt most comfortable. And most sportsmen, especially if they competed at a very high level, will have an occasion that they can remember when they did very well.
Yes.
So what I want you to do, you remember that occasion, remember what you wore, how you felt that day, and go back to that and try to transfer that feeling to now.
Yes.
Now, as I said, not easy.
But you're talking my language.
Right? Well, good. So you would understand what I'm saying, right? And for me, as a coach, and because I work at a school that has done so well in so many different disciplines, I watch as many sports as possible. It's just watching Barbados play netball, actually. We have the talent. There is no doubt about that. In football, Barbados' football teams up to under 15 would match anybody in the world. The transition comes when we go to the under 17 level, where players from other places are bigger and stronger. So, what do you do with these fellas in Barbados who are not big and stronger? You have to get in the mind. You have to get them to understand they're as good as or better than.
Yes.
And they go onto the field understanding when you represent Barbados, everybody like this brand name thing. But the Barbados crest should mean more to any player than any Nike swoosh, any Adidas thing, because those brands came after Barbados. Barbados is, we are independent, but Barbados was around from 16 something, right? So Barbados should, to play for your country is an honor that many people will not get.
And that is one of the things that should inspire them to play to their optimal.
Yeah. You know, I never played for Barbados, but when I took a team to Tobago in '95, combined schools, for me that was an honor. To hear the national anthem in another country, that was an honor.
So what was the response, or what came out of that suggestion about developing the mental aspect of it?
At the BFA level, it was met with muted thing, polite applause, but I could see that when I left there, I knew that nobody was going to take it up. I knew that. At Combermere, as I said, the players understood, okay, at Combermere, football season, every match day is a meeting. That's standard. That started way back in 1990. I've never changed it. The football days have always been the same days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So you know when you have a football game at 1 o'clock, get to the P room. If you get to the P room and find the door closed, you're late, you can't come into the meeting. I don't care who you are, right? So there are certain things that I've done that remain to this day. And although my role as coach has diminished because of added responsibilities as a person now teaching the theoretical component of PE, the tradition has continued.
Okay. All right. Now, I have done some work with cricketers. I've done some work with tennis players. I've worked with performers, not just sport. Work with performers, I've worked with financial advisors, different people who need to be performing at high levels. It's interesting that some of the techniques, some of the things you're speaking of, are some of the techniques I actually use. What then do you think is, or where do you see the future of sport in Barbados? Let's look at it from that direction. And what are some of the missing pieces of sport in Barbados?
Sports in Barbados, unless sports administrators, and when I say administrators, no, I'm not just talking about the rank and file president and what's not. The decision makers in government need to understand that we have to take our sports to another level. It can't be just running around on the football field. It has to go beyond that. To use a cricket terminology, it has to go beyond the boundary.
Right.
So you need to have the mental approach, get people to buy into it, get people to try it. Don't just say it can't work. The quickest thing we can do is say something can't work. That's a cop-out. That's a cop-out. Try it a few times, and if it doesn't work well, you may need to readjust the steps you're taking to get. I want to get to that board there. This is the easiest way to get to the board, a straight line. But there may be objects in front of me.
Correct.
Obstacles are not a blockage. Obstacles are the path. It's just you got to find a way to get through the obstacles.
So what I've been doing, as I've worked with a cricketer who played at the highest level, who scored his most runs after a season of working with me.
Good.
He mentioned in 2018 that he scored his most runs and had his best average, and he has praised or commended me for the work we've done. Work with tennis players, I work with some athletes, etc. What I want to impress, especially on the audience, is most people hear that mental conditioning is important, but the actual application of the strategies is something that a lot of people don't actually do. And
because for some strange reason, we think sports is just physical.
yeah,
So they will divorce themselves from the mental application.
Right.
And I will say this here till I get tired of saying it. If we want sports in Barbados, if we are serious about sports and not making sport as sports, which we are doing very good right now, we need to understand there has to be a marriage between the mental side of the sport and the physical side of the sport. And if we get that, the results will improve. Not going to happen overnight. Not going to happen overnight. But as I said, people are afraid to try it because it sounds strange, so they don't want to try it. And as I said, to not try it to me is a cop-out. And I can't deal with that.
one of the approaches that I have developed for working with athletes especially is helping them to see, there's a program I've developed called the Warriors or Young Warriors program, where back in the day, before the last 100 years, athletes or competitors in sport were seen as warriors representing their communities and representing their nation. And it was not just a matter of getting money. It was about bragging rights. It was about domination. It was about proving that you're winning for your community, proving that your community was higher or better or stronger than the other communities you were representing. So the Young Warriors program is one of the approaches, as a matter of fact, is the cusp or the core of the approach that I use with athletes, where we look at the mental conditioning, we look at how they can gain mental clarity, we look at confidence, we look at developing mental toughness. Some of it is incorporated into the actual training. Some of it is we do in-house. But then some of it, we actually go on field and practice the specific strategies. So in the Warriors program, we let athletes realize that they are not just, it's not just about making money. They're actually representing a people, a community that they are seeing as, that they are helping to elevate or ascend through their dominance in their sport. And like you said earlier, it's not just about the sport, it's actually about life. And very often sport is a reflection or it has a correlation to life.
Sport mirrors life.
Yeah. So I'm really, 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 really elated that I could share this idea with you, to see your enthusiasm about it. I remember from back at school, you were always reiterating, emphasizing points. The command that Michael Small had over the hall when he entered the hall was different to any other teacher, in some cases, even the principal. It was about your energy, it was your approach, but also you were one of the teachers which students could gravitate to, could go and talk to at lunchtime, could have a conversation with. And so it wasn't just that you were strict and assertive, it was that you had a good rapport, that level
important.
of discipline.
That's important. I talk to and with young people, not talk at them. Right? Because interestingly enough, I find the relationship I have with sixth formers is very good. First formers do not like me.
They see you as enemy.
Yeah, they see me as the enemy. And I'm glad, because somebody has to be enemy.
That's respect.
At that, yeah, somebody has to be enemy at that age. But when a child hits 15, he or she is not going to swallow everything Mr. Small said in the back of his or her mind. Why do I have to do that? So sometimes when a child challenge me, sir, why you got to do it? The easy way out is say, because I'm the boss. So if you want to talk with me later, you could come. So sometimes I have to talk to children outside of the classroom and let them know why. I'll share something you know. Shane Jones, who reads news on thing. One day, children came to me, sir, you need to get to the class early. Shane Jones does some fantastic impersonations of you and Mr. Blackman. I said, okay, good. So I rushed down there in the morning, and Shane is so much into what he's doing because I talk with my hands a lot. When I got down there, Shane was doing, he had me down pat, and I stood up and I laughed. No, the children were telling Shane, Mr. Small behind you, Mr. Small. Shane was so into it. When he looked back and he saw me, we laughed. But I said, young man, I need to have a word with you. So went upstairs. I never raised my voice. I said, Shane, first of all, the impersonations are fantastic. And I enjoyed it. But there's a time and place for everything. Never let me see that again unless it's a concert. No, because, all right, you had oh Lord, between 11 and 13, the child doing that. If I allowed him to think that every time I'm not there, he could papi show me, as what people say, I won't get no respect. So I was able to tell him I appreciated it, but I drew a line. Don't do it again. And he understood. So when he became a newscaster, I wasn't surprised. I was not surprised.
Right. I know we are on this because we're wrapping up soon. I want to speak to two persons. I am sure, especially from you, they wouldn't mind. But I want to talk about the impression you made on two, I guess, public figures. No, there's Sunita Alexander. She's now a doctor, Dr. Sunita Alexander, and DJ Puffy.
DJ Puffy was a head boy. I think Sunita was a head girl also.
Yes.
Sunita came to Combermere full of enthusiasm. Her nickname at the time was Pint Pot because she was really small. Very good athlete. Whatever you told Sunita to do as an athlete, she did. And along the way, this rapport just grew. And I remember a time she had returned from overseas studying. And she told me, Mr. Small, there were some times in Jamaica I felt like giving up. I remember a quote you gave me. No, anybody knows me knows I love quotations. So I said, what was the quotation? She said, success does not come to you, you go to it. And I said to myself, she remember that? No, that I would have given her that quotation years ago. But she remembered. Puffy, DJ Puffy, became head boy, and his ascension to head boy was very interesting. A lot of people did not feel he should be head boy. I got a lot of licks for that, a lot of stick, but I didn't care. I saw something in Puffy that other people didn't see. And I think as a PE teacher, because the children see a PE teacher as somebody they can hang out with, man. And some children will cross the line, some will not cross the line. So we developed a rapport. And, to this day, Puffy would come to the school and come and shout me. A lot of students go overseas and come back, and some of them come back and say the first but you need to see is Mr. Small. As I said already, I am happy that I have impacted people's lives like that. I find this group I work with now to be more challenging, especially parents. But that's another story, another day over some beers or something. Because I could tell some stories about some encounters I've had with parents that will blow your mind. Right? But the bottom line for me is to get people to empower them, make them believe in themselves, let them see that they can be anything they put their mind to be. And just keep encouraging them, because you never know where that encouragement could take them.
And you're seeing it every year?
Every year, yes. When students come back and shout me or they give me a link on Facebook, sir, I know I'm doing my doctorate now. So, whoa, okay. Right? So all right, the 11 plus, it get a lot of licks in Barbados because people's lives, some people seem to think your life depends on 11 plus. That's a joke. 11 plus is what you do at that time. A lot of children develop after 11 plus. A lot. There are some children who scrape through the 11 plus, but when they go to secondary school, they work.
As a matter of fact, 11 plus is just a stage of your life.
It's just a stage of your life, right? So we just need to keep being positive. Like, people talk about brainwashing at Combermere. I know we're wrapping up, but I need to say this here. Brainwashing is a very negative word to me. Because when you brainwash people, when I think about brainwashing, I watch pictures, people were brainwashing. Jim Jones brainwashed people and all they drink Kool-Aid and kill themselves. Hitler brainwashed people. If you are motivating people to feel good about themselves, that is not brainwashing. That is empowering them through mental application. It's motivating. So I try to be as positive as possible. And I try to accentuate the positive every single day of my life. I try. Don't work all the time, but I try.
Michael Small, this is a pleasure. I really enjoy these moments with you.
Thank you very much.
And I really wish you continued success as the head of department there at the Combermere School, the Physical Education Department. You were, again, one of those figures that have impacted my life, and I would love that 10 years from now, you can hear other students saying that Michael Small impacted my life as well. But really wish you all the best in your fitness journey as well. I know you're still working out and everything. So this is to you, audience. Maybe there is a figure in your life, maybe it's a teacher, maybe it's a mentor or a father or a cousin or whoever, who has been making an impact in your life. I want you to shout them, say hi to them, let them know the impact they've been making on your life. And of course, for you, those of you who need help and motivation in terms of peak performance, getting over those barriers, those obstacles in your life, you can reach out to us here at Insight Consulting. Give us a call, 247-6899, or email us insightconsultingbb@gmail.com, or shout us on Facebook, Insight Consulting Barbados. And I want you to live your best life going forward. Have a wonderful day and see you soon.